These FSU fans and even some Alabama fans who are in doubt are going to learn real quick. This Bama team is still going to run all over your. Stick around. Let's talk about it. This is Way Off Sides. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Hey, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever the case may be. Welcome to Way Off Sides and Roll Tide. It's a beautiful sound this morning because we are only, 11 days, something like that, 11, 12 days removed from Alabama football. And all the talk has been about Alabama's run game and how they will not be able to run now that Jam Miller is likely not to play against the Seminoles on August 30th. Well, FSU fans, I got news for you, man. I've seen a couple of FSU fans who are realistic about this in comment sections. They're like, look, it's Bama. They're still stacked at that position. You're stupid if you think they're not going to run the ball. But I've also, in the same hand, seen Alabama fans throwing in the towel saying, if we ain't got Jam, we ain't winning. First of all, no knock against Jam Miller. Under any circumstances. I am really excited about his last season at Alabama, what he's going to be able to do. But let's not act like Jam Miller's an All-American running back, okay? Let's not act like Jam Miller is a Heisman Trophy contender, okay? Bama's got better running backs behind him. They certainly do. The question is a question of youth and experience, not of talent. Alabama's got all the talent in the world. I would argue more talent than anybody else at the running back position. So for Alabama fans that are thinking Alabama's not going to be able to run the ball because Jam Miller's not playing, you don't know what you're talking about. Learn ball. Sorry, sore throat. And for you FSU fans who think that Alabama's not going to be able to run the ball against you, I don't know what makes you think that. I don't know. And we're going to talk about that. We're going to dive into that today. Before we do, Bama fans, leave a big Roll Tide in the comment. FSU fans, you can talk as much smack as you want to down there. We still love you. You can say what you want. This is a free country. So God bless you. While you're there, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. You can follow us on social media at Way Offsides. That's Way with 4 A's. Tell them, Skip.
Way, this is all caps, W-A-A-A-A-Y, Way.
Thank you, Skip Bayless. We appreciate you. Alabama planned on injuries this fall. Kalen DeBoer said after his second scrimmage that they wanted the fall to be very physical and that they had a plan in place for injuries, and they were anticipating this. Maybe not to Jam Miller, but if there was a position group at Alabama where they could afford an injury, it was definitely the running back room. They could maybe afford one or two at the wide receiving position, God forbid. Because we got some dudes over there that we want to see make it through the season. In terms of Alabama running the ball, no, they did not run the ball consistently well last year, but they did not run the ball consistently well because defensive coordinators keyed in on the fact that Jalen Milroe was inconsistent, and all they had to do was stack the box. Right? Alabama was destined to not be able to run the ball with Jalen Milroe at quarterback. And I've actually made a video. I've talked about this, that if Ty Simpson can get in there and kind of tear it apart and rip it, let it go, hit those check downs, go through progressions, then that's going to open up things for Alabama's running backs on the ground. And Kalen DeBoer and Ryan Grubb, despite this offensive through the air mentality, they have had 1,000-yard rushers at different places they've been, including Washington, who, mind you, the guy that rushed 1,000 yards there wasn't their primary running back option because their primary running back option got hurt before the season started. So I don't think Alabama's game plan going into Tallahassee changes much at all. I think the Tide will still try to take over the game and wear FSU down on the ground. And they've got the backs to do it without Jam Miller, Richard Young, Daniel Hill, Dre Washington, even maybe A.K. Deere. I don't know if he's going to play much, but even maybe A.K. Deere. Now, why do I think they're going to be successful? Well, it's easy. FSU last season was 107th in run defense. 107th, guys. Okay. Now, I don't care how good you are, what pieces you bring in. You're not going to be able to solve that problem in one season. You're not. That is porous. That's porously bad. I get that they replaced Adam Fuller with Tony White. Like, I completely understand that, but I just don't see being able to really mend that problem in one offseason. That is a problem that will take a few seasons to fix. Okay. They averaged giving up 184 yards per game last season. Bottom in the ACC, which is a trash conference outside of one or two teams. Okay. Their last two opponents who weren't playoff teams, and we're not going to include Notre Dame here, and we're not going to include Cupcakes because Alabama didn't make the playoffs, so we'll leave Notre Dame out of the equation. They ended up playing for national championship. Notre Dame, of course, ran all over them. We know that. But Florida and North Carolina. Alabama last year definitely ran the ball better than both of those teams. They were better offensively than both of those teams. So let's see what the end product was from last year. These are two of their last opponents. I believe it was North Carolina, Notre Dame, Cupcake, and then Florida. So again, we're going to take the Cupcake and Notre Dame out of the equation. Of course, FSU beat the Cupcake, but Notre Dame ran all over FSU. Against Florida, the same FSU defense who is talking about stopping Alabama's offense gave up 235 yards on the ground while only rushing for 99. 235. I got news for you guys, man. Even if Alabama's running backs aren't running well, their quarterback can run. Don't think just because Jalen Milroe's not back there, Alabama can't run. Ty Simpson. Dude's got wheels. You gave up 235 yards, averaging 6.1 yards per play when you factor in the passing yards. Absolutely atrocious run defense. Let's go to North Carolina, a faulty 5-4 team, a very bad college football team who isn't a leader in any of the stats, offensively, defensively. Alabama outranks them everywhere across the board. You gave up 289 rushing yards to North Carolina while only rushing 42. With their passing yards, 500 total yards of offense, man. They were averaging almost 7 yards a freaking play. You gave up almost 400 yards of offense to Florida. A not very good Florida team last year. They got better with DJ Lagway, but he was banged up. Imagine what they're going to do to you this year. I get it. The game's in Tallahassee. You think that that's going to give you a competitive advantage. Alabama is better than you at positionally all the way across the board. Most of those Bama players you guys poached are gone. And the ones that you did poach wasn't starting know-how. I see what they got you last year. So there's a difference in being pro your team, right? Like being supportive. I don't expect FSU fans to go, yeah, we're going to get our tails whipped. But when they're constantly talking smack on social media, and then they jump on the whole Jam Miller is out, so we're going to win this game. You guys are forgetting, first and foremost, Alabama's probably going to feature one of their best offensive lines in 5 years. On top of that, that wide receiving group is legit. It was legit last year. It just didn't get featured because of Jalen Milroe. I get it. I understand the talking point. The rebut is, well, then why wasn't Ty Simpson starting? Well, I'll be honest with you. There was some politics involved in that decision. That was, you can't release Jalen Milroe because of his NIL value, because of him kind of being that glue that held the locker room together once Nick Saban retired. So you kind of had to stick with Jalen Milroe. He became the face of the program. That doesn't mean that Ty Simpson's not better. Tua Tagovailoa was a better quarterback than Jalen Hurts at Alabama. Way better. But Jalen Hurts was the face of the program at the time until he couldn't be. Milroe is gone. He's off to the Seahawks. Ty Simpson is the real deal. A lot of folks don't understand that about what went on at Alabama last year. They don't understand how good Kalen DeBoer is historically in year 2. Not to mention Ty Simpson can run. Richard Young, very bowling ball-esque running back, very Josh Jacobs to me. Then right behind him, you're going to have Daniel Hill, who is a couple of inches shorter, but heavier than Derrick Henry was when he was at Alabama. Power back. If you think Draylon Washington is a scrub, you haven't been paying attention. A lot of folks are going to learn that name before this is over. And then the freshman sensation that everybody's stoked about, A.K. Deere, sitting back there. And this is all contingent on if we actually know what happened to Jam Miller and if he's not ready. I don't think he's going to be, but you never know. There's some people out there who feel like he could actually still play. I wouldn't get your hopes up, but that's just what people are talking about. But is Florida State going to be better stopping the run? I hope so. For their sake, for Mike Norvell's sake, I hope so. Because for them to be 107th in the country last year, that's tough, man. That's a tough pill for Nole fans to swallow. Don't forget, next season, you got to come to Tuscaloosa. I understand. Kalen DeBoer did not look great on the road last year. Lost at Vanderbilt, lost at Oklahoma, lost at Tennessee. I get it. I agree. I agree with you. But if you aren't capable of understanding that transitional year from last season will have no bearing and nothing to do with what's going to happen in 2025, I don't know how to help you. Maybe I don't want to help you. Don't believe me? Go listen to all the other talking heads who were invited to Alabama's scrimmage. You like Josh Pate? Go listen to what he has to say. "200-yard rushing incoming. Bama at FSU." You heard it here first. Thanks for sticking around with me. You guys are the best. As always, please, I know I say as always a lot. I'm sorry. Thanks for being patient. Please like, subscribe, do all the things. Hit the notification bell. You may have to go into your settings to turn notifications on, which is perfectly fine. Very easy. But once you do that, you'll know anytime we post content. We post a lot of shorts, a lot of long-form contents. We got 2 lives coming up this week. We'll have Andrew Duggan on tomorrow night, 2026 recruit. And then Thursday, we have our normal show at 8 p.m. This will be a jam-packed show this week. We're going to go do our last head-to-head with Ohio State. We will have our hot takes for the 2025 season. We will have our playoff field prediction, who's going to win the SEC, the whole kit and caboodle. So make sure you're there, set an alarm, do what you got to do. Thanks for hanging out with me. Love each and every one of you. Say your prayers, read your Bibles, wash your hands, horns down, beat Auburn and LSU and Tennessee and FSU too. Roll Tide.